Bosnia and Herzegovina, a country where East meets West. A land that has witnessed wars and conflicts throughout history and still bears the scars of its past. The 1992-1995 war ended, but its legacy, landmines, continues to threaten lives. Across the country, the impact of war and its aftermath remain visible.
We stand next to the Latina Bridge, as it's called on Bosnian, Latinska Chuprija. Why it is famous? Latina Bridge became famous because of World War I. Actually, we stand in the place exactly where Archduke of Austria, Franz Ferdinand, assassinated, and his wife as well, by Gavrilo Principi on 28th of June, 1914.
The Latin Bridge remains a symbol of Bosnia and Herzegovina's political struggles during wartime and its post-war demining efforts. During and after the war, the area was heavily contaminated with landmines. A major challenge following the Bosnian War of the 1990s. Today, Bosnia and Herzegovina is one of the most landmine-contaminated countries in Europe. Despite 28 years of demining operations, approximately 800 square kilometers of land are still affected. The country has suffered thousands of casualties, with hundreds of lives lost. Yet the fight continues.
During the war, it was pretty close to that enemy lines. We were just playing, me and other kids, and I'm not even sure it was a mine or the grenade or whatever that happens, because I just felt a big explosion, and next thing that I remember that I was lying down on the floor. I didn't know that I was shot. Actually, because there was nobody around me, I just tried to stand up on my legs, you know, and to run away, of course. And then I realized that I have injury in my leg, that I cannot stand up. And next thing that I remember is that I'm traveling to the hospital in some kind of the minivan or car. I don't know what was that. And I didn't actually lose my leg immediately. The doctors were trying to save my leg for the first 7 or 10 days. Now this scenario is better, because if in some case they managed to save my leg, that leg would be not usable leg, you know. It would be, I couldn't do anything with that leg, but with this procedures I can do whatever I want.
I'll be honest, I remember when we were in elementary school, we were receiving, for example, games from OSCE that were educating us about mines. So as I was a kid in elementary school, I remember being taught about mines and the dangers of the mines. I was born in Libya, but my parents are from Bosnia.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Libya has a big problem of landmines as well.
I would say it's not a topic that's often spoken in public discourse as much. I assume it's part of us moving on from the war period, and that's why. But definitely when I was younger...
I think legacy exists.
Oh, this, of course, especially when you talk to the people who were affected by it. They still, you know, they still remind us. But it's not as much institutionalized as one would hope.
When we talk about mine victims here in Bosnia and Herzegovina, we calculate that in, let's say, 2 ways. One way, we calculate the number of the victims after the war from the 1996. It's more than 1,800 victims. More than 600 it's die, all others it's injured. When we talk about how we help that mine victims and the family of the mine victims, we try to establish that, let's say, way to all of that guys have good medical care, social and others care in the country. You know that we have in Bosnia a very complex state organization, but when we talk about mine victims, especially in medical care, they have whole same rights like all others.
Supporting landmine victims and their families is a priority. The aim is to provide access to quality medical, social and financial assistance.
We are living with that for almost 30 years. It became kind of normal to live with that we know that there is somewhere close, it's a landmine. It's perfectly normal. Okay, you have that yellow marks that this is the landmine, don't go there and live a normal life. It's kind of strange that you ask, because it's for us it's pretty much the normal. I have my primary job. I'm actually system engineer, mainly for Microsoft Technologies. I'm working for some telco company. That's my job, of course, but I actually like to say I'm working to be able to live. I'm not living for work. So because I have so many hobbies.
Despite Bosnia's complex governance, mine victims receive equal medical rights. Funding for demining efforts comes from both domestic and international sources.
We calculate that in the last 10-15 years, the ratio between domestic and international, it's 50%. More invest comes from the European Union, from United States and all other countries who is involved in that. This is a great help for Bosnia and Herzegovina. The two, let's say, big programs comes this year. One is IPA-free. It's a pre-assessment program from European Union, and second one is from the World Bank, also cooperation with the European Union. It's the right side of the river Sava, who is practically program to establish the transport in the main river in Bosnia and Herzegovina. We also expect in the next, let's say, 7 or 8 years to finish our job in means of the mines, and we hope that that support of the international will be almost on the same level, because Bosnia and Herzegovina have domestic reserves like civil protection, army forces, but it's not enough to finish everything of that. It's a great help also from the international organization like MPA or my advisory group, etc., etc. When we talk about coordination or how to manage everything about mine action, we established that, let's say, a long time ago, 2002, we established the demining law in Bosnia and Herzegovina, and let's say the rules and everything of that, it's practically in that law, because the entity, for example, an entity civil protection or army forces have accreditation. Those are accreditation like all other organizations like MPA, MAG, etc.
Continuous financial support and international cooperation are essential for fully resolving the landmine problem. Clearing minefields not only improves safety, but also creates new opportunities for economic and social development.
S obzirom da je jako dug period, od skoro 3 decenije u kojima Bosna i Hercegovina obavlja ovu borbu protiv mina, može se reći da je u tom periodu Bosna i Hercegovina i potakla, odnosno problemi mina u Bosni i Hercegovini i potakli razvoj, tehnološki razvoj opreme i alata za uklanjanje mina, generalno u regiji, ali i u svijetu. I osjeti se u zadnjih, recimo, 2 decenije značajan napredak, iako se radi u suštini U osnovi se radi o gotovo istoj opremi, dakle, demineri i danas rade prije svega te manualne operacije sa metal detektorima, međutim, to su ipak metal detektori 4. generacije. Realno, 2-3 proizvođača u svijetu su se pokazala kao adekvatni za proizvodnju najsavremenijih metal detektora. Mi koristimo tu opremu već dugi niz godina.
Mine detection dogs play a crucial role. Trained both locally and internationally, they detect landmines, explosives and narcotics.
In Azerbaijan, Lebanon, Angola, Iraq, Afghanistan and some other countries. So far we trained more than 500 dogs, not only mine detection dogs but also explosive detection dogs, narcotic dogs and other service dogs. Besides of the training of mine detection dogs, we do demining. We clear more than 50 square kilometers of suspected land, not only in Bosnia and Herzegovina, but also in the region or Southeast Europe. Also, we do some other programs like mine victim assistance and mine risk education programs.
Bosnia and Azerbaijan share similar challenges in demining. Both countries have mountainous terrain, and climate conditions impact operations. Continued demining is critical for sustainable peace and economic development.
Fortunately, what I heard, your country is very serious about the process of removing landmines in Karabakh, and that's very important.
This is a big case.
Yes, this big case, yeah.
Because of, when you talk about Karabakh, you say more than 1 million miles. And it is not a whole country, just a small portion of the country, which is 20%. It's about 15,000, 16,000 square kilometers that contaminated. And this density quite high. Many similarities with Bosnia and Herzegovina and even Azerbaijan because of mountains and climatic changes.
Deadline
With deadline is just to, deadline usually one of the issue of deadline, it's atal obligation, which countries like Bosnia, Croatia put 10 years to, but I don't see in many practice that all countries who sign a Atal treaty have a mid-deadline.
Yeah.
So deadline cannot be just achieved by country itself. It should be done by support of international community as well.
While Bosnia is making progress towards becoming landmine-free, there are still dangerous areas in some regions. The risk is especially high in areas visited by school groups and parents.
Since for over 10 years we are doing that within our CHAMPS Children Against Mines program that is supported by the State Department. And of course, upon request from BHMAC or any other organization, we are always willing to conduct some mine risk education, especially for school children. We went among people in villages, in mine-contaminated areas, to again warn them about the risk of mines. Mine Detection Dog Center is very active in mine victim assistance, and we are currently the only organization involved in fitting high-quality prostheses for mine victims. And we are doing that. We annually support at least 50 survivors, which is a huge result, considering that these people have very little funds available from the country. It all depends on their status, whether they are war veterans or civil war victims, but all of them need the support. So that's why we are approaching the donors, and our main donors in this area are State Department and Government of Federal Republic of Germany. So these two donors, we are very grateful to continuously support mine survivors through our organization. The mines will be removed eventually, but people will remain with their own problems.
So during this project, we were able to found and destroyed more than 800 mines, and we reduced suspected area. Actually, that was a suspected area of more of 6.5 million square meters of suspected land around the city. So 2 years ago, we were able, thanks to this project funded by State Department, to declare our capital as a mine-free city.
Landmine free from impact,
Impact
of landmine.
Impact of landmine, yeah.
It's a little bit.
So 5-6 more years, I think we'll be able, with, as I said, with strong support of international community and our government. Unfortunately, that 30 years, 3 decades after the war, we still have that problem. And of course, we have to say that we have to continue to support our mine victims. That's also a huge problem in Bosnia. They need.
Clearing mines is slow and costly. While burying a landmine costs just $1–2, removing one costs $50–60. This poses a significant barrier to Bosnia's economic recovery.
Today, January 2025, we have 8 manual demining teams. We have still 1 dog team, and we have 2 community liaison teams. So we are almost 100 people in the program. And most of the staff is national. We are only 2 international persons, myself and the technical operations manager. All the rest of the staff is national. Are in constant dialogue with the local authorities, the municipalities, to see what are their priorities and how we can best support them as well in their, like how demining can help their socioeconomic development. So we have, for instance, 5 people in the team right now who are all from different ethnic backgrounds, and we have male and female members of staff, and that really helps reaching out to all members of the community, all categories of population, and making sure we get information about the potential contamination from all members of society. Or there is not sufficient evidence. So in this case, the work of our community liaison team is really critical because they help gather new information. Then another technical challenge is that the remaining minefields in this country are located in very remote areas, sometimes very inaccessible. Definitely seen the effects of climate change over the past years on our work. So we are working in region of the country, where villages have been virtually abandoned, and demining is helping people to come back. So it shows that demining can really support sustainable development.
Demining is not just a physical operation, it is also a social issue. It's an important step necessary for people to be able to live a safer life in the future.
We are on Basharshir Street on Old Town. You can see behind of me the synagogue, Jewish synagogue. It's famous, named of the famous artist of first and best now Jewish woman writer from Bosnia who wrote this Judeo-Spanish, Laura Bahoreta. And it shows this multiculturalism and coexistence of different cultures, different religions in Sarajevo that exist next to each other, synagogue, mosque, churches. It's a good example of tolerance that we can see nowadays in Europe, and especially in the Balkans.
But it's a global issue. It's a terrible weapon, probably the most terrible ever invented, apart from atomic bomb.
How you feel in Bosnia? This, it's daily life. Do you feel this legacy on daily life in Bosnia?
I mean, the last years proved that Bosnia is unbreakable. So the Bosnian mentality is crowned by this flexibility, intelligence, and humor. So it's really unbeatable.
All religions coexist in Sarajevo, but part of the war still legacy still exists, and we can see this sign of which call in Sarajevo and in Bosnia and Herzegovina red roses. What it means? It is legacy of last war, and this is place where area was shelled and people was killed here. Just each place where shell drop down and kill the person. Nowadays in all Sarajevo we can see the signs of red signs. It's called red roses. This is tragedy, and we should keep and remember that.
U tom trenutku ja sam imala jedno olakšanje, jer sam znala da djeca izlaze iz ovakvog okruženja kako jeste. I vjerujte da sam ja tako relaksirano hodala ulicom, imala sam neke na sebi crvene pantalone, ko sad se sjećam, i bijeli džemper. I znate kad idete gore Alpašinim poljem i tamo vam je studentski domovi otprilike. Ja sam tu hodala onako kao da se ništa ne dešava. Bio je lijep sunčan majski dan, a oko mene padaju granate.
The heavy legacy of war, landmines and their victims are still part of society. Since 1995, organizations established for mine victims have aimed to integrate them into society and provide support. Landmines will eventually be fully cleared, but those harmed by them will still need assistance for many years to come.
Deminiranje ide vlada i nevladnim organizacijama, ali žrtve mina sve manje organizacija koje idu. Mine će nestati, a ova generacija koja je stradala od mina će živjeti još 20-30 godina. Moja pouka je, ako su otišle mine, nisu žrtve, da obrate pažnju na žrtve mina, jer su onda prepuštane sami sebi i neuređenim zakonima u ovoj državi. A to znači da mogu teško da žive.
This is Vučko, mascot of Olympic Games 1984, and you can see some legacies of the bullet that exists on this Vučko, just to remember war of 90s in Balkans. In 2022, a last landmine was discovered and destroyed here in Trebinec. In total, 110 landmines was destroyed here. And as a result, 2022, Sarajevo declared as landmine free from impact Sarajevo. And nowadays we can walk here. Despite the fact still, you can see the legacies of the war, destroyed and shelled areas next to Sarajevo.
Sarajevo is not only the place where the First World War began, but also a city that bears the heavy scars of the last war. Today, Sarajevo is transforming into a major tourism hub for Bosnia. In 2025, the city was chosen by the National Geographic as one of the most recommended tourist destinations in Europe. The journey to a landmine-free Bosnia is not over. It may take years, but one thing is certain. The people of Bosnia and Herzegovina are strong, resilient and hopeful for the future. Landmines remain a shadow of the past, but a symbol of hope for a free tomorrow.